The year 2014 marked a tectonic shift in world affairs. The war in Ukraine led to the downing of flight MH17, a passenger plane from Amsterdam en route to Kuala Lumpur. Ukraine immediately blamed Russia, and so did American officials. The Russian crew of an air defense system called Beek supposedly shot down MH17 by mistake, in the belief that it was a military airplane. The EU and the US put severe sanctions on Russia. The Obama administration started supporting the Ukrainian military and called on European nations to stop buying Russian oil and gas. My name is Erik van der Beek. I'm an investigative journalist from the Netherlands. I call into question that Russia is to blame for the crash. I closely followed the MH17 trial in the Netherlands, where 3 Russians and 1 Ukrainian stood trial. I attended all 69 sessions. I studied all official reports. I talked to dozens of people, among whom the former commander of the 1st Finnish Beek battalion, who taught me how the crew of a Beek system usually identifies targets and shoots down enemy aircraft. I wrote 2 books about the crash, both in Dutch. A 3rd book is out now. It's in English, the MH17 Trial. Anyone who takes notice of the facts should think twice before pointing fingers at Russia. In this short video, I will discuss 9 undisputed facts that will make you wonder. American and European intelligence services did not detect any Russian air defense system on Ukrainian territory. What they did see were 7 Ukrainian Beek systems in the Donbass region, around the time of the crash. The slide you're looking at now was shown by the prosecution in the District Court of The Hague. The court attached great importance to the testimony of a man described as M58, a former Donetsk rebel. He declared that he had been present when the fatal missile was fired and that he had seen how the missile flew towards MH17 and hit the cockpit. This is physically impossible. The alleged launch location was at 26.5 kilometers from the place where MH17 was hit, while it was flying at 10 kilometers altitude over a densely clouded area. Also, M58 repeatedly declared that he witnessed the incident on July 16, the day before the crash. A Dutch team recovered 7 parts of a Beek missile that had been found lying loose in the crash area, among which a venturi and a motor casing. At the press conference of the joint investigation team, it was suggested that these parts proved that MH17 was downed by a Beek missile. In the end, these parts were not presented as evidence. In the court, the prosecution declared that it was not clear at what moment in time the missile parts had landed in the area. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, the serial numbers engraved on the motor casing and venturi indicated that these were part of a missile delivered to Ukraine during the Soviet era. The ministry substantiated its claim by showing a missile logbook from 1986 and other official documents of the time. The US government claims to have observed the launch of the fatal missile from territory that was controlled by the Donetsk rebels, but they never provided evidence for this. The Dutch court has not received any satellite or radar data from the US. The Ukrainian Secret Service, SBU, presented wiretapped conversations in which the rebels talk about the downing of a plane. In court, it appeared that the prosecution had never forensically checked the audio for editing, anti-dating and voice cloning. The Ukrainian Secret Service, SBU, immediately implicated rebels commander Igor Besler. On YouTube, they published phone conversations in which Besler can be heard talking about the downing of a plane. The Dutch prosecution stated that these conversations could not possibly be related to MH17. Ukrainian and Western media propagated the narrative that the Russian crew of a Beek Teller mistook MH17 for a Ukrainian military transport plane. For this, They referred to a social media account that had mistakenly reported that a military transport plane was shot down. The report was falsely attributed to Igor Girkin, the Minister of Defense of the Donetsk rebels. The account carried his nom de guerre, Igor Strelkov, but it was a fan account. Girkin had nothing to do with it. The Dutch prosecution acknowledged this, but failed to mention that the first person who spread this false narrative was a pro-Kiev Twitter account, shown here. MH17 flew in a straight line at constant altitude and speed toward the Russian border, in a known corridor for civil aviation. The Boeing's altitude and speed alone should have been important indicators to the crew of any booktailer that there was no danger from the approaching object. The Dutch prosecution did not present any scenario in which the crew of a book could have mistaken MH17 for a military aircraft. This begs the question: could it be that this was no accident, that the plane was downed on purpose? If yes, who would have a motive, the means and the opportunity to commit such evil crime? In this video, I highlighted 9 undisputed facts. There is much more that does not fit the official narrative. For more MH17 essentials, you can check the text below this video screen. You want to know what really happened? Read all about it in my book. Then draw your own conclusions.